is really, that's last on the priority. The first thing to do, or not do rather, in terms of starting, is not react the way the child is behaving. As adults, we always react that way. So the child is bawling and screaming, and what we do, we go out there and we start to bawl and scream, get it from the floor, and so we keep, you know, climbing that crazy ladder in terms of our response. So the first thing that needs to change is our response to our children. If our children are having a moment, we need to be calm in that moment, right? If the moment can continue, you allow it to continue until the child is calm. Once the child is calm, you then enter into exploration with your child as to what happened right before, what happened during, and what is happening now. How do you then have that conversation? A lot of time we have...
I have to break you, because we have to go on a break. We have to pay bills. They're annoying, these bills, but they come every month.
Well,
and in our case, every 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We're discussing the long-term effects of trauma on children. You're watching K.
Guys, get in. Okay.
Nice car.
Extreme boldness. The all-new Elantra. Hyundai.
Invigorate both mind and body with healthy lifestyle changes. Nicole Huggins and Associates of Health and Wealth Lifestyle invite you to join us on Synergy TV every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. where we bring you information and education about healthy lifestyle changes. At Health and Wealth Lifestyle, we offer a number of services such as live blood analysis, which can tell you if there is parasites or fungus in the blood and more. Body analysis, see how your organs are functioning. For example, your heart, kidneys, or both male and female reproductive system. Our exercise machine, 10 minutes on the machine is equivalent to 1 hour of cardio exercise. Also available, our eco-friendly products. Taste our sumptuous Rolicious Delight, health drinks, and nature's tea. Come on down to Health and Wealth Lifestyle, located at number 73, Eastern Main Road, Barataria, or call us at 221-9874 or 288-1108. Remember, your health is your wealth, and prevention is always better than medication.
Welcome back to Care. Today we're talking about the long-term effects that trauma has on a child. We're joined by Hanif Benjamin. Hanif is a specialist in trauma on the whole, but especially children.
Correct.
Yes. When we went off on break, we were speaking about using a particular example. You know, a child constantly, it's their regular day-to-day behavior. If they don't get what they want, they throw a tantrum. They scream, they shout, they're unbearable, and I've absolutely had it. This child is the worst.
Okay, so I was about to go into
what not to do.
Well, yeah, what not to do.
So not to do is throw a tantrum myself.
Correct. And you and I both know when that child is having a tantrum, you're having a tantrum as well.
Except you.
Right? So you don't have a tantrum.
So no, this is my question though. If you're saying, because as parents, as Marsha just said, many times you're on our wit's end. And I guess the reason for that, based on what you said previously, is that most of us as parents, we traumatize ourselves.
Correct.
Because how do we deal with a child that is misbehaving? We either issue corporal punishment, or we both.
Most times.
That's what many of us was taught. So I am not one, as we would say, a beater. I don't like to beat. I don't like that because I know the trauma that it could cause. However, I always say it did nothing for me. I mean, I don't think it affected me. Maybe it did. Maybe it did.
Yeah.
So,
And you don't have a clue.
so mommy traumatized me. Daddy a little bit too.
Yeah.
But as a parent, and especially as a new parent, how do you deal with that? Now, there is no course online that says this is how to be a good parent, this is how to be an okay parent, this is how to be a bad parent.
There
So,
is.
so how you as a parent are going to cope with a troubled child or a child that is throwing a tantrum, as you say?
The first thing, just like there is no book that, or university or courses that deals with being a good parent, we must also concede that there is none for children as well. So just as you are learning, children are also learning. But somehow as adults, we tend to forget that and believe that our children must understand what we say, when we say it, and how we say it. And that's not correct. We need to teach, guide, and mold our children. The second thing that we need to look at is there's a difference between punishment and discipline, right? Discipline is meant to teach, right? After a discipline session, the child must have learned something. Both you and the child must have learned something. And it goes for even this, you know, the whole tantrum situation, in that, what is causing this? You know, when you talk about Freud and Piaget, these people who we wouldn't go a lot into, you know, they spoke about, you know, the stages of development. And Freud especially spoke about the psychosexual stages. And if you miss one stage, you have difficulty in the next stage. And that is why I believe that there is always something that has happened or is happening that is causing this child to behave the way they behave. And it requires a certain level of exploration.
Right.
And beating, shouting, and screaming is not the way to explore. And that is a challenge.
But as you say, you know, discipline is meant to teach both the parent and the child. But I remember growing up, when you're beaten, you will explain why you're getting licks. So do not touch that.
Yeah, fine.
But
why?
So, well, of course.
And that's what the
Why?
teaching. And that's what the teaching. I have always been told, do not, stop. You shouldn't. It's always about stop. And that's why when we grow, and you say, you know, you think, when we really look at how we have developed as adults, yes, we probably successful, you went to school, you did well, more likely than not because out of fear, we did what we had to do, more likely because of fear. But then when it translates into our adult lives, when we look at who we are as a being, you can see where there are difficulties that comes out ever so often. And you try to figure out, why am I this way? We have people who have trust issues. We have people who are very anxious. We have people who cannot deal with being told no. We have people who cannot be rejected. Those are things that we develop from our childhood. And so when I speak about, you know, the whole discipline is to teach, it's not to beat you over the head and leave you there. Because when that happens, you are in fact teaching the child that is how you should respond to situation in latter years. You see? So it's really about, how do you use discipline to teach that child about the tantrum? Chances are that child is not regulated in terms of wants and needs. Now, if you know children, they are instant gratifiers. They want instant gratification. They want that from the time they reach for breastfeed, they want that breast when they want it, how they want it, whatever the night. And if you're not there, everybody will know that they want it because they're going to be shouting and screaming themselves. And as they continue to grow, you realize that is a pattern that has to be taught. Like, how do you wean the child off? How do you continue? And that is where the challenge is for us.
But Sigmund Freud always said, I mean, his teaching was sex and aggression. So a child is born with that aggressive instinct, that aggressive nature. So yes, I understand where you're talking about the environment, but I have seen instances where, for example, I'll take my son. He's not in a home where there's any aggression.
How old is your son?
2.
Right.
He's not in a home where there's any aggression, but he has his moments where he doesn't throw a tantrum, but he has this fit of rage thing that he does, where he clenches his fists and shakes and screams if he's not getting his way. He wasn't taught that by any one of us.
He wouldn't be. That is innate. That he's there right now.
Right.
It's your responsibility now, and the child's mother's responsibility, or the parents, let me put it that way, to help him through that difficulty. And a lot of time we fail to do that. So now the child is now 6, 7, and 8, rolling on the floor.
Right.
How would you, so you have a 2-year-old whose natural way would be to clench his fist, very upset. As a parent, how would you guide a child out of that situation and into appropriate behavior?
No, I don't know the term appropriate behavior.
Well,
but how
the
you
behavior that I would like to see,
Right,
a
you would
behavior
like to
that's
see.
calm, behavior that's socially acceptable.
Fair enough. So what you have to look at then is recognizing that there is a challenge, right? So we see the child level of anger increasing because of needs and wants. What we need to now do is figure out how to calm that child down, one, and explain to that child, or teach that child rather.
Well, that's why I have you here.
Well,
You're telling me to figure it out. I want
No,
you
no, no,
to
no, no,
tell
no,
me,
no,
give
no.
me a clear example. Tell me what to do. My child
come to
is
me.
No, I want you to give me one. I want to.
No,
you
but
have to
no,
show
I'm
me
giving
that
you, I'm
know
giving you,
before I come
I'm
by
giving you an example. No, but when you come by me, all I'm going to do is guide you. Because what has to happen
guide me on
with
the
you,
show.
what you need to
I want
understand.
a 1-minute freebie. I want a 1
They
minute.
come with me to have you, but she will have a receipt book ready.
I want a 1-minute freebie. Guide me.
First of all,
And
you
if
need
the
to.
child clenching
Real
his fist,
excited.
and he is like, ugh. Tell me, what can I do? Give me something.
So the
What's
first thing I will
can
ask
do?
is to describe for me the behaviors.
Describe for me the behavior.
Right? I would also ask
Come
you
on, honey, we're going right
to
on
use play. To use play to identify these behaviors. Because just as play is important for children, play speaks very loud for us as clinicians. That tells us a lot. So if you give this child a coloring book and color pencil, what happened? Is it that they scratch it up? Is it that they rip up the paper? Is it that they break the pencil? So we can tell if it's something deeper or if it's just a phase that the child is going through.
And if it's just a phase that the child is going
if it's
through.
just a phase, then you as a parent need to first understand the phase that the child is in. That is always a challenge. Parents don't understand adolescent or child development. So I will teach the parents psychoeducation in terms of this is where the child is at and this is what they will experience. Now I will also help the parent to understand that this is how you respond to it. When the child is behaving like
Tell
that,
me how to respond to it. He is refusing to give me my
I
1
thought I was
minute
just
freebie.
going there.
He is refusing
No.
to give me my 1 minute freebie. I want you. I'm not moving on.
My question is my question is though, I understand all what you're saying. So you're talking about parents who probably are as Marcia is saying, that 1 minute freebie probably could afford to come by you so that they can have a better understanding. I'm talking about parents here, probably is there being a parent for the first time. However, there's a stigma in society that says, you know, when persons are less educated, they tend to be more aggressive towards children.
And you're saying that's
and not
actually
just just children, but everyone else. So a parent who doesn't have that level of education, or as a matter of fact, I would even not all parents though, because there are some who are very educated, but that still show that sort of aggression. I sit on a PTA board, and recently we had a situation from another school, of course, where one of the principals said it's better to have what was the exact term? I don't want to misquote, but what she was saying is that there are a lot of successful people out there who are socially troubled.
Correct.
That they beat their wives, they abuse their children. So it doesn't happen with just the persons who are not educated like that, but persons who are not that educated. Don't you see it then? If we know this is what happens, that it's a social responsibility from some organization, whether it be the government, the foundation that you have, to have programs where you educate parents on the, if you want to say, the proper method of parenting, rather than having a nation where you have so many abused children, whether it be physical, psychological?
I think you're speaking to the choir here, because we are constantly through the postgraduate training institute, constantly, out there pounding the pavement in terms of teaching, guiding, molding. I mean, we just came out from our summer series 2016, where we had about 6 different training programs, and we trained over 600 persons throughout Trinidad and Tobago in conflict resolution with children, between children and parent, also social media, understanding social media. So we assessment and diagnosis. We did a lot of training, and we continue to so do. But you're quite right. Everyone cannot afford to come to see a clinician, right. and nor should they have to. And that is why we have to understand that our responsibility as a company is, one, to go out there to the people, into the communities, and to do what we do, because that is the only way we are able to reach the majority of persons. Because in my office, I could see 6 clients a day, but we have thousands of people in schools, so that is why we also have the Teacher Professional Development Training Series. We have just launched that because we want to go into schools to help teachers to recognize exactly what you're asking for. Because if they don't recognize, because more likely than not, they are going to be the first ones to recognize that something is wrong, right? Just by way of math, a child spends 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 1,000 hours of academic year in school, waking hours. That is where the brain is most active. Parents see that child during the week, early morning, late night, hustling, really. So the school is where a lot of the issues of trauma creeps up. And that is where we are now focusing to teach our children, our schools, how to recognize. I'm not teaching them to be clinician, but simply how to recognize. And once you recognize, pass it to the relevant authority. There are some issues, Marsha, that are just outside the purview of the parent that cannot be solved in the home. And there are somehow
fine. And that's fine. But what I think as a parent I need to know is what is and what is not. So first I need to be able to recognize.
Correct.
Then I need to be able to say, then I need to be able to say what is my level, what is not my level, what is okay, what needs to be passed on. But I'm being told we need to go pay bills again, so we're gonna keep that for when we come back. We're watching Care. We're discussing the long-term effects of trauma, especially on children. Don't go anywhere.
Do you want to create an amazing experience for your business? Increase your sales with specific content and real-time information? Well, come engage with Click Media, your #1 choice for digital signage solutions. You can even create content in real time with a powerful and centralized system or outdoor LED billboards or digital menu boards to engage customers in line. And tablet displays positioned at the point of purchase, and so much more. Give us a call today at 663-0604, your digital signage specialists.
Trinidad and Tobago. It's time to go green.
Good morning. I'm here to read you your rights.
My what?
We are all free and equal. Don't discriminate. You have the right to life.
You have the right to life and to live in freedom and safety.
You have a right to education. You have a right to your own things.
You have the right to social security. You have the right to play.
You have the right to democracy. You have the right to asylum.
You have the right to take responsibility.
And no one and nobody can take these rights and freedoms away from you.
Why are you doing this?
You have a right to know.
Hi, welcome back to Care. Today we're discussing the long-term effects of trauma on children. We're joined by Mr. Hanif Benjamin. Hanif is a childhood trauma specialist.
Correct.
He's a trauma specialist, but you know, special, yes. Yeah. So he does a lot of work with children in the schools, etc.
Correct.
We were discussing before we went on break, recognizing, you know, the different levels of trauma,
correct,
the different levels of situations where parents need to realize that, okay, this is now out of my capacity and must be passed on to the relevant authorities. You spoke about, just before we went on to break, some of the things that you would teach teachers.
Correct.
Because teachers, of course, see their children all the time. Now, I'm a homeschooling mother, so I'm particularly interested in knowing for myself, you know, what are some of the signs that
correct,
this is something trauma, but it's normal. Because when Tiba had spoken about, you know, he'd given the example of his son, you know, like goes into a fit of rage, but he's not seeing it anywhere at home. At least you know, you're not seeing that there's something really causing it. And you would agree that that might just be, you know, he's a child, he is trying to figure things out himself.
Correct, correct.
How is there any way that I can, without saying, okay, let's pretend I'm the mother, right? So Tiba and I have this particular situation, and he's doing this. Is there any way that I can determine this is normal versus not normal? Or do I have to seek therapy to even decide whether this is normal or not?
Right. Well, the first thing I want to say, if you feel that there's something that is going on with your child, I would always say go to your, in most cases, your generalist, your doctor, whomever. They might guide you. But there are a couple of words that you brought out to me. And when you look at trauma or childhood trauma, recognition, right? Before we went on the break, you spoke to recognition. And that is where a lot of our parents fall, because they cannot recognize, one, that something is different because they have no idea what is normal, right? So when I work with parents, the first thing I ask them to look at is what is normal and what is abnormal, right? I spoke
specifically to the child.
To the child, yes. Because if you cannot tell the difference, or what we call the baseline, right? If you cannot tell the baseline of your child or children, you will miss powerful cues. Now remember, our children cannot come and cross their leg most times and say, well, mommy, I feel this way, or daddy, I feel this way.
So
their behavior, correct, okay, their behavior is what will tell us most times that something is wrong. Now earlier I spoke about a behavior and or emotion. That is where they speak. For example, if your child is accustomed to doing things a particular way, and you recognize somehow that it changed, then you know something is going on that requires some level of intervention from you as a parent. And most times, children go undetected into young adulthood and stuff because we miss the cues. It happens in school, it happens at home. And I'm saying to us that we need to understand, first of all, recognition. So you need to know what's going on with your child. A lot of time we are too busy to even recognize that. So when you talk about tantrum and all these other things, you need to understand, what is this child normal being? What goes on every day?
Normal behavior is tantrum. Is that even possible? That your normal behavior? Because as a parent might go, but that child always get throwing tantrums.
But you see, and that is what it is. They always, and we generalize the statement, right. And that is why I always say we need to be very specific. When you come, you need to tell me exactly what are the behaviors that you're seeing, because every behavior speaks differently. When you're looking at trauma, every behavior has a story. Every color that child used to color a coloring book, every drawing that child makes speaks to a different issue that they're going through. So parents need to come up now to understand their child or children.
I think parents need to be first. I think parents should be the first patients, not the child. Agreed. Because I saw recently, I went to the mall, and he was probably about 4-year-old was running through his store, and he threw down some shoes, and his mother grabbed him and hit him, and why do that? No, things like that gets me upset, because that's, as you say, it's a child. So my 2-year-old will be in the office and he's running. A perfect example last week. He's running up and down. I'm telling him, stop running, stop running. The first time he falls, boom, he gets up. Daddy, I'm okay, I'm okay. I said, no, you need to stop running because you fell. Less than 5 minutes, he starts back running. He falls again. This time when he falls, he gets a carpet burn. I said, so I showed him, I say, you see, this is what happened when you don't listen to daddy.
Let me interject here real quickly now. How old is he again?
2.
Now, you expect a 2-year-old child, and that is where the learning comes in, to sit and be as daddy.
No, I don't.
No, but most parents, they expect you to sit and be quiet in the corner there.
That's why I didn't beat him when he fell. Because he's learning.
Correct.
So that's my method to teach him to learn. So when he fell the second time, when he got the carpet burn, it's my punishment, as they say. So rather my discipline. So I'm explaining to him, you've got this.
As a result
of.
Now, let me bring it back now. You understanding that you're working with a certain age bracket. So here is what parents can do. What you would need to make this child behave or to be engrossed, because the mind of a child is constant. They want excitement. Their role, their only job is to play and have fun.
Right.
So you have a child sitting here right now wanting to sit quiet. That won't happen unless you are engaging that child to do that. So having a child just sit there, not going to happen. The pathway is very clear to the front door, but when you all leave, they need to jump over the couch, go under the table, pass through the kitchen to come to the front door. And everybody at the front door waiting like, you finished? Because that is how it is. So we have to find ways to stimulate our children because they don't understand sit down and be quiet. When I start,
or at least why?
At least why?
You
because
know, like
you're
sit
in
and
an
be quiet.
office,
Okay,
or
why?
Here, you know,
like what's in it for me?
Correct.
Why
because
do you want me to sit and be quiet? Because you need me to sit down to be quiet.
They understand that I want to play, and he sat for 5 minutes, and what happens after that? That 5 minutes is hell. Like, I need to run. Like, what do you mean sit? And so when you're looking at these things as parents, as you rightly say, we need to be the first patient, right? They need to understand, one, your child or children, what are their likes.
Do you have anything for parents to come and go backwards and fix? Because I mean, I think that's a perfect solution, at least one solution. You know, as parents, we should parent ourselves and we should work on ourselves first and foremost.
We don't like that because we're the parents.
I know we don't like it, but I mean, I'm sure I've gone through a lot of trauma. I'm sure you have, and I'm sure plenty of people in Trinidad have. So before I could even go on to helping my child through her trauma, I feel that I need
to fix me first.
I need to fix me first. So is it too late? Can
No,
I go backwards and
I don't. When you say backwards, it's not Freudian. Come slide on my couch and then I will put you in a trance and take you till you were 2. I heard you talking about the show. But no.
But I can work on it.
But of course.
So it's never too late.
Correct. It's never too late because we are, again, what we learned. We are our experiences. So the experience of the past, that is why when you made it, and I think I'm pretty good now, and we talk about the love, people look at it as jovial, but what you got then is what you live now. For example, your child got sick for the first time, not hospital sick. The remedies that I employ, more likely than not, are going to be the ones you notice from childhood. You understand? Because that is how we operate. And so if it is that we need to keep and understand trauma, because when I designed a trauma workshop, it was called Trauma for the Silent Among Us. Because a lot of times children with trauma sit in a corner and no one recognizes that something is going on until it's too late, because children wouldn't come and say, you know, Marsha, good morning, you know, last night I was raped. That's not going to happen. But they'll either turn the classroom upside down or they will pull themselves in a corner. So some of the things that you need to look at in terms of trauma, the behavior, in terms of behavior changes in your children. You understand, from happy to sad, from sad to happy. What happened? I had one case where every time they carried the child to the preschool, the child peeing and tootsing themselves, carrying on, and because she'll get accustomed to this school. Somebody was interfering with the child and the child was speaking to you by their behavior and their emotion, but we didn't take it on. So parents need to understand their behaviors. They need to understand when that behavior change. When your child is no longer interested in play, anytime a child is not interested in play, tell yourself something wrong. When you get up in the morning and you're busy going about and you realize that this child is not pulling your foot, you as a parent take a pause and say, wait, where is him or her? You understand? Because that is what they do. So you need to look at changes in behavior.
It's so funny, because normally...
That's not a perfect child.
Exactly.
I think that's a perfect child.
So it's funny because you say that, but if a child's not interested in play, then technically the child is very well behaved. It's actually less work for the parents.
And so we translate that into school.
Thank God.
Translate that into school. And a teacher, I mean, I have been there, a child is behaving good in the corner. That child real good. But that child might be suffering in silence and is not able to verbalize how they feel. So we cannot take the silence, especially if the child was out there. If the child was engaged and playing and stuff, and then all of a sudden the child is reclused, there's something is wrong. So
it's not that my discipline started to work?
No. Chances are no. Because even though the discipline started, they will keep doing it for some time. It's not like one-off. Because again, the brain and the development of children, that is just how it is. You need to keep talking and talking and talking, and you will talk and talk until their brain reached a point where they can rationalize what you are saying. I talked to you already, you know, and you talk once. You can't talk to a child once and expect a child to learn, because their brain have not rationalized your adult thinking and their childhood thinking. It's not, what are you talking? They're seeing stars and colors when you're talking. You understand? So one, we need to understand changes in behavior and or emotion. Two, you need to be able to tell when something is wrong with your child. And you need to have, the third thing that we have a lot of problem with is having age-appropriate conversations. We always believe that we can't talk about this and we can't talk about that with children. But when I work with trauma and when you work with children and parents, having age-appropriate conversation. We all have conversation from our age down to them, thinking that they will understand your rationale, your ideology, your thinking. We need to go down to their level and have that conversation. Yeah, literally, physically.
Sit down, stoop down.
I remember in my early training.
That little trick.
I had this little boy on his couch, foot in his foot, and I couldn't get through. From the time I put on a jeans strap, being back on the ground, and I went down with color pencil, miracles happen. Literally, miracles happen. So we need to understand that we need to remove the stripe. You're a parent, we know that wouldn't be removed from you. So you need to remove your stripe and go down to that child. Speak to the child in a way that they can understand. Explain things to them. The reason why they ask why is because they're curious. Their minds are curious. And if we keep telling them, because I say so, what we are in fact doing is shutting them down. So they will stop communicate with us. And that is why when they are experiencing trauma, they don't tell no one. More likely than not, it happens by accident that you find out about traumas, right? Because a behavior is so bad, the teacher have to call you. That is when, and you say, well, I never knew. And that is all too often we hear it, I never knew. Because we don't take a moment to watch, to observe, to guide. Look at how your children is playing with other children. Look at how they're interacting. Look at how they're playing with toys. I mean, it's amazing what you will see with toys doing. So as a parent, you sit and you just observe your child. Observe your child.
But don't you think...
What should I be looking at for play in children?
Aggression.
So this is it. Okay, because I'm looking at, you're an expert in this field. I'm not, Marsha is not, many other parents are not. So signs that you will see, parents will not. How do you cope with that?
And
we have to go on a break, guys. Oh my gosh.
I remember that question.
Yes, I will write it down. Don't go anywhere, because I feel like we're getting, a lot of juicy conversation. You're watching Care, and we're dealing with childhood trauma today. Don't go anywhere.
Log on to couponstt.com. It's the place to find coupons, deals, and the best prices on products and services nationwide. Life just got better with couponstt.com.
Knock a ting, everybody knock a ting. Hey! Knock a ting, everybody better. Clear the way when the general come, when the general come, when the general come. Whoa! Tell everybody that we warning, hot like a job on a Juve morning. Clear the way when the general come, when the general come, when the general come. Boy! Tell everybody that we warning, bad we bad, hey, bad we bad. Side step, anytime we step out it. Black outfit, swinging like Jeff Howdy. When we wake, nothing can be powder. Because we bad from
Hi, and welcome back to CARE. Today we're discussing the effects of childhood trauma. We're joined by Dr. Not Dr. yet. We're joined by Mr. Hanif Benjamin, who is a child trauma specialist, and Tiba, who is just a parent. You know, we qualified by experience. We are qualified by experience.
PhDs upon PhDs.
I tell people I am not a PhD.
Oh, I have my PhD now.
Clearly.
Oh, well,
yeah, I have my PhD.
That's 1 year old.
Yeah.
You cap and go.
I have a PhD.
I have a QBE. I'm qualified by experience. I'm Marsha Riley QBE.
Imagine if you could have put that out of it awesome.
I'm going to start. So, very quickly, because we need to start a wrap up. Tiba raised a great point.
Indeed.
You know, you are a specialist, and so you know that's phenomenal because you can watch a child play, you can watch your child all day and immediately pick up. We are just parents fighting up at home, doing the best that we can.
Understood.
What am I looking for? What would you suggest?
The baseline, look for a difference. Look for a difference. We live busy lives.
Is there anything that we can do to improve ourselves, to improve our knowledge?
Let me tell you, and this is where I'm going. We have almost beaten the phrase, there is no university and stuff, and we keep saying it over and over. But the time has come for us to educate ourselves. I think that information is so, it's right there. In everything we do, in everywhere there's information. We can access this information. And for those people who cannot, that is where the Center for Human Development comes in through our training and development. You know, we go to communities, we go into church and all these different kind of things, and we have this conversation with our parents and community because we want them to be informed. But I think that the onus is also on parents to really read and understand and know what's going on with their child. I mean, we have situations where people are in standard 5 Form 1 and you have not recognized that there is a learning disability. Right. I mean, that is unfortunate, right? So it means that while we can give you as much as we can via these medium, but you as a parent, you need to go out there and get that information. You know you are going to have a child, then you need to start to read. You need to start to understand when that child crying all night and the level of frustration hits, what happened to calm you down. You need to understand your triggers. You need to understand the child triggers. These are things that you as a parent, through normal, everyday observation, can in fact get.
Okay. So we need to get trained up. Honey, are you taking me to training?
I will train people.
Right?
You will train people? You ain't trained yet?
I have a PhD in this. I qualify. Trust me, I qualify.
Qualified. Okay, I want you to give the audience a bit of information. How do we get in contact with you?
Well, you can definitely get us at www.livelifewelltt@gmail.com. www.livelifewelltt.org. You can call us at 317-3471-374-9996. Again, 374-9996, 317-3471. You can send us an email directly. And of course, we are on Facebook, the Center for Human Development Limited.
Well, I've shared that information already on our Facebook.
Okay, wonderful. So you can get us there as well. I mean, we are always willing and able. And one of the things that we're looking to start is some psycho-educational groups for parents, right? And for all different types, parents who are dealing with children with ADHD, parents who are dealing with children with other psychological disorders, parents who just have difficult teenagers, yeah? So we're going to be starting these things again in communities to help.
And these things are free.
Well, we are trying our best.
By the government?
No, it's not. We are a private organization trying really hard to make it work. So if you are willing to fund...
Hence the reason we try to bring Hanif on here, so we could try to get some freebies. You know,
because the training in the summer.
We need to start to get funding just now.
But that's how
it's
it
all
is.
about corporate Trinidad, you know, until corporate Trinidad and the government see
UNESCO has been really good to us in the summer series because
fantastic.
One of the trainings was $800, and when they came on board, it went down to $200 because they absorbed a lot of the costs and stuff.
Fantastic.
And that is how we're able to get it.
Great job, UNESCO.
Yeah, I mean, Omar and the team there, they're doing wonderful. We have a symposium coming up in November, really looking at society, building family, building resiliency in family in this hard economic time. We want people to understand their roles and responsibilities.
You know, he said, you know, it's funny.
Well, we will have just jumping on it because of the need.
You've spoken about resilience in this harsh economic time, and I remember you said very early on that, you know, something as simple as poverty, because we keep using rape a lot as one of the examples, but you spoke earlier on about a fish dying. You spoke earlier on about something as simple as poverty. You know, what is something simple? I mean, because I'm sure I say it all the time, I can't afford that. I can't afford that, you know.
It's not that. Poverty is the world over has been proven to be one of the greatest trauma in history, and people continue because out of poverty comes the rape, the incest, the molestation, the domestic violence. There's a spin-off to a lot of what happened because of
number one cause.
But what is poverty?
Poverty is when you're not able to provide for yourself and your family.
Maslow's hierarchy of law.
You know, basic food and shelter. Once you
food, shelter, clothing.
You know, and a lot of people have a different idea of what is food, whether steak or you're talking about a yam in the back. I mean,
and that's why I asked what is poverty.
At the end of the day, if you cannot provide by the how do you call these people, United Nations, 50 cents a day or $1 a day, provide for yourself. And we have a large percentage of Trinidad and Tobago dealing with that. And as the economic situation worsens, a lot of people are going to be pushed from the middle class to the working poor to the very poor. And our children are going to be the ones suffering because when the frustration hits and we don't know how to deal with it, trauma.
What day is the symposium? Because we need to wrap up, and I do want to do. I definitely want Trinidad and Tobago to be at that symposium.
We're still trying to get a date, so later this week I will get you the date.
All right, and look out for it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we're all over, and you know we're gonna put it there because that would be dealing with the preparation now for trauma.
Definitely.
You know, because we need to move away from that stage of dealing with the after effects and starting to prepare. We know that we're going into a recession where we're there. So things are going to become harder. Poverty is the #1 cause for that trauma. So let's get into the symposium. Let's hear how can we prepare for dealing with, you know, what we're going through now economically. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Hines. Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. I've had lovely colors, oh my gosh, on the show today. It's been great. Please follow us. If you've missed the episode, you need something else, you want to check it out again, you can go. All our episodes are posted on www.marshariley.com. We're on all social media, so check us out. You've been watching Care. See you next week.